Hello and welcome to Brass Dragons Music. Today we're going to be talking about major scales and the relative minor scales. Now what does relative mean? Well, relative means that they're in the same key. Okay? So if I have a C major scale, I'll show you the corresponding scales, minor scales for that key. Now we're not going to get into modes. That's a whole nother ball of wax. We might do that at a later date. But today I'm going to show you the relative minor, as opposed to parallel minor, which means that we start on the same tonic, the same root. But we're not going to do that today. We're going to go with relative, like brother and sister, okay? You got it? All right. So we're going to start. By the way, my name is Ralph Martin. Thank you for joining me. I hope this is going to be helpful to you, because a lot of people are kind of afraid of the minor scales, and there's no need to be. And if you know your major scales, which is an assumption that we're going to do today, I assume you know your major scales, okay? Given that, I'm going to show you the major scales, okay? We're going to start with the C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and back to the tonic again. Okay? Now, this is real easy. Okay? This is easy stuff. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, which is also 1 again. Okay, does that make sense? Now, to build this, I'm just going over this briefly, and you should probably know how this is built. Hope you can see that okay. My lights are a little on the bright side. Sorry about that. I gotta use what I got. So, we call this, the first two is a whole step. Whole step. Half step. Whole step. Whole step. Whole step. Half step. Okay, so all the major scales use this pattern of whole step, half, whole step, half. Okay, 2 whole steps and a half, 3 whole steps and a half. All right. So the one we're going to be focusing on is this one right here, number 6. That's the tonic of our relative major. In other words, that's the root. That's the note we're going to start on for our minor scale. And it takes exactly the same notes as the C major scale. Isn't that wonderful? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and we're back to A. What changed? Well, the way the whole steps and half steps interact. This light is driving us crazy. I didn't realize there would be quite so much reflection on my board here. All right. You get it? Okay. I'm hoping you can see this well enough. All right. So now what changed? Our whole step and half steps changed. It turns into whole step, half, whole step, half, whole step, and whole step. So, let me get this out of the way because I don't want to confuse anybody. Whole step, half, whole step, half, whole step, whole step. All the natural minor scales. Now this one is the natural. The natural minor scale. Okay? You have to realize that this third member here, the third degree, is being blotted out by the light. But it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, back to tonic again. That makes sense so far? I hope so. Now, oh boy. There are a total of 3 relative minor scales. The natural minor, melodic minor, natural minor, harmonic minor, and melodic minor. Now there's reasons for each one of these. So we're going to borrow some notes from the A minor parallel major. What's the parallel major to A minor? Is A major. Okay, so let me put the A major scale up here. I'm going to do it. Start down here so we have plenty of room. Well, if I leave it like it is, it's just going to be the A natural minor scale, which is what we have up here. So I have to use our major formula to put in the correct notes, right? Okay, so what's our formula? Whole step, half, right? 2 whole steps and a half, then 3 whole steps and a half. Okay, so A to B, is that a whole step? Yes, it is. B to C natural is a half step. If you look on the piano, it's a half step. How do we make it a whole step? We're going to add a sharp. C sharp. C sharp to D is a natural half step. D to E is a natural half step, a whole step. E to F is a natural half step. We need to make it a whole step. So let's raise the F. There's F sharp. F to G is a natural half step. We got to make it a whole step. So we make it G sharp. G sharp to A is our half step. So now we have our major scale again. This is the C major scale. Excuse me, the A major scale. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. Order of sharps. Okay? Now, one of the problems with the A natural minor scale was that when you got to the fifth chord, which was the E, it's minor. It doesn't lead back to the tonic chord very well. So we want to make it a major chord so that we have this half step leading to the tonic, which is a very strong motion. Okay? How do we do that? Easy peasy. We're going to borrow this note and we're going to put it here. Oh man, what is that? That totally changes our thing here, doesn't it? All right, so now we have a step and a half. Is that okay? Sure. We're doing it for harmonic reasons. That's why this is a harmonic minor. And we have a half step. There. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound very good melodically. And why is that? Because of this F to G sharp. Gives us, and this half step between 5 and 6. There's too many half steps. We have 3 half steps instead of 2. Doesn't sound good melodically. Sounds very Middle Eastern, if you will. And if you're playing Middle Eastern music, that's okay. But if you're not, and this came from the Western culture, if you're not playing Middle Eastern music, then what do? So let's change this for a melodic reason. What can we do? Let's get rid of that. That step and a half. How do we get rid of that? Well, let's borrow the F sharp. Let's see what happens. Now we end up with a whole step. Get rid of you. A whole step. And we still have that half step between 7 and 8. So now we have whole step, half, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half. So now we have 4 whole steps in a row from 3 to 7. Does that work melodically? Absolutely. Now, one of the things that Western music did is they didn't like that scale on the way down. So what they did on the way down is they went back to the natural minor scale and they got rid of the 2 sharps here. So this was an ascending scale going up and the natural minor getting rid of those two on the way down. But if you're playing jazz and you're using that scale for whatever reason, normally you would use this scale for a minor 6 or minor major 7. Those are the two normal reasons for using it. But you can also use it just because you want to. That sounds kind of strange? Yeah, but it works. So those are the three relative minor scales to a major scale. It sounds like a lot, but if you know your major scales cold, doing the minors is really not that bad. Do they take practice? Absolutely, but that's what we're here for, right? Learning how to play better. On another video, we'll talk about all the triads and all the chords that go along with this. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions whatsoever, please leave a comment. I read all my comments and I answer all the comments. All right? What I highly recommend, write all this out. Get a piece of music paper, write it out. Then look at it and play it, but try not to look at it while you're playing it. Follow me? You're trying to get it off the page. Is it a lot of writing? Is it a lot of work? It's a bit. But once you know this stuff, easy peasy. It just happens. And it's no big deal. You got to know your majors cold. You got to know natural minors cold. And then just making some slight adjustments. No biggie deal. Okay? Take care. Happy practicing. Be well. Ralph Martin with Brass Dragons bidding you adieu.